My journey with intermittent fasting revealed shocking blood glucose patterns that contradicted everything I expected. What happened in those first few weeks wasn't just surprising. It completely transformed my understanding of how our bodies regulate sugar. I started tracking my blood glucose while experimenting with different fasting protocols, expecting steady improvements from day one. Instead, my readings actually increased during the first week. This counterintuitive response sent me diving into medical research to understand what was really happening beneath the surface. The dawn phenomenon became my first revelation. During early fasting periods, particularly in the morning, your body naturally releases glucose from the liver while simultaneously increasing cortisol and growth hormone. This evolutionary adaptation ensures your brain has fuel even when you haven't eaten, but it temporarily raises blood sugar levels in a way that can be alarming if you don't understand the mechanism. Those initial elevated readings nearly made me abandon fasting altogether. Medical literature from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology confirms this pattern is actually normal, a protective response rather than a warning sign. What matters is how your glucose levels stabilize after the adaptation phase. Stress hormones play a crucial but often overlooked role in glucose regulation during fasting. When I first began extending my fasting window beyond 16 hours, my body interpreted this change as potential stress, triggering cortisol release that prompted glycogen conversion to glucose. My readings would spike despite eating nothing, creating confusion and concern. Insulin sensitivity improvements require patience. Contrary to popular belief, enhanced insulin response doesn't occur immediately. When fasting begins, research published in Cell Metabolism demonstrates that significant improvements typically emerge after 2 to 3 weeks of consistent practice, as cellular adaptations gradually develop. My own glucose readings didn't stabilize until day 17 of my fasting protocol. Liver glycogen depletion follows a timeline few discuss. During initial fasting periods, your body preferentially burns through stored liver glycogen, converting it to glucose and potentially keeping blood sugar levels elevated. Only after these stores diminish, typically 12 to 24 hours into fasting, does your metabolism shift toward fat utilization and ketone production, when the real metabolic benefits begin emerging. The critical adaptation threshold surprised me most. My breakthrough came during week 3, when morning glucose readings suddenly dropped by 18 points. According to findings from the University of Southern California's Longevity Institute, this metabolic shift typically occurs between days 14 to 21 of consistent practice, when cellular machinery has fully adapted to the new eating pattern. Personalized fasting windows matter significantly. I discovered my optimal protocol was 18-6, 18 hours, 6 minutes. Fasting, 6-hour eating window. But this varies substantially between individuals. Harvard Medical School research indicates that factors including age, activity level, metabolic health history, and even genetic factors influence your ideal fasting duration and timing. Hypoglycemic dips became my next challenge. After adapting to regular fasting, I occasionally experienced blood sugar drops below normal range, particularly during extended fasts. Medical literature from Mayo Clinic explains these episodes as temporary imbalances between insulin sensitivity and gluconeogenesis rates. Essentially, your body becoming too efficient at glucose utilization before fully adapting to producing ketones. Metabolic flexibility emerges gradually. The ability to seamlessly switch between glucose and fat metabolism, known as metabolic flexibility, isn't achieved overnight. Yale University studies suggest complete adaptation requires 3 to 6 weeks of consistent practice with significant individual variation. Tracking both glucose levels and ketones provided me the most comprehensive picture of this transition. Breaking fast properly proved essential for glucose stability. Large carbohydrate-heavy meals after extended fast triggered glucose spikes 72% higher than similar meals consumed without prior fasting. Research from the Journal of Nutrition demonstrates that breaking fast with small, balanced meals containing protein, healthy fats, and limited carbohydrates produces the most stable glucose response. Exercise timing significantly impacts fasting blood glucose patterns. When I worked out during late fasting periods, my readings would temporarily increase due to stress hormone release and hepatic glucose production. However, studies from the American College of Sports Medicine show that regular training during fasted states ultimately enhances insulin sensitivity more effectively than fed state exercise.